Today, I have in a watch that's just been on a little adventure with me to the British Watchmakers Day show in London. It's also from a brand that was presenting at the show, Nomadic Watches. Great to finally meet Peter, the owner of the brand, in person there. The watch is the Fior 555 GMT in shipyard yellow, which is Nomadic's signature color. Big thanks to Nomadic for lending this in for a little test drive. Really appreciate it, but let's get to it and check out the watch. All right. Now, I have had a few watches in from the brand, but this, especially with this color combination, is my favorite so far. Quick little story on the watch before we get into the details, but at the show, I was standing in line. Must have been at least two or 300 people in the lineup, and from a distance, I saw someone approaching me quite quickly. He complimented me on the watch, and when I thanked him, he said he should like it considering he was the designer of it. I had a pretty good laugh there, but I was surprised he spotted it out of the crowd like that. To the watch here, though, and these are available in a few color options. Again, this yellow is the Nomadic signature color, which is inspired by the Samson and Goliath cranes, which stand about 100 meters tall at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast. The dial here is designed for legibility with the black against the contrasting markers. Easy orientation of the watch with the numerals marking the 12 o'clock. The print work is crisp and clean with Nomadic printed just below the 12 and Fior 555 and GMT in yellow just below that. Everything is nice and symmetrical with the date at the 6 o'clock. We've got a nice looking handset that is the right size with the minute, second, and the yellow GMT hand reaching right out to the markers. In low light, this is borderline a torch with the X1 grade Super Luminova they're using. One thing that's interesting is on the daylight hours on the bezel, the yellow part of the bezel, it's a much dimmer black lume. At first, I thought that was a bit of a letdown, but if the markers were white, they would be hard to read against the yellow, and in the dark, you really only need the lume on the black slash evening area of the bezel, so it's pretty well thought out, really. The bezel is a proper GMT bezel, 48 click, bidirectional bezel. I find the bezel action to be slightly different depending on the direction you're turning it. It's a little less smooth of an action clockwise, I find. Nothing major, but it feels better the opposite direction. 48 click bezels are a lot of times kind of clunky feeling, and compared to most, this is overall quite good. The insert is ceramic and the coin edge is easy to grip and operate. The case is very well finished with just a touch of polish work along the top edges of the lugs. I like how instead of a gradual curve, the end of the lugs jut down like that. Through the display case back is the Sellita SW330 running the watch, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's a 25 jewel movement with a power reserve of approximately 56 hours. Very cool compass-inspired rotor, and I like that it's open like that, giving you more of a look at the entire movement. The movement is an office GMT movement, so instead of a traveler's GMT where the regular hour hand is adjusted independently, the GMT is here. Unscrew the crown, and first of all, good smooth winding action when it comes to the movement. To the next position, clockwise on the crown is going to adjust the GMT, and counterclockwise the date. To the last position, you can set your time. The watch comes out on this sort of a flattened Jubilee style bracelet. It looks like a Jubilee, but the links aren't quite as rounded. It is a quick release bracelet if you're looking to easily swap straps. Screw links for sizing, and the taper is down to 15.7 millimeters at the clasp. The clasp is signed with the company logo. Sturdy build quality, and it also has an on-the-fly adjustment system. So between that and this style of bracelet, it's very comfortable on wrist. Another bonus with it is if you own a Mirai or a Turris, it's interchangeable between those Nomadic models too. Size on the watch comes in at a case with the 41 millimeters. The lug to lug is 48.3 millimeters. Lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 12.8 millimeters, including the slightly domed sapphire crystal, which is treated with an anti reflective coating. Water resistance is 200 meters. And here it is on my 7.25 inch wrist. And yeah, very cool watch. The yellow against the black looks awesome, I think. I wore this for most of my trip to London and it was perfect for it. It's a very tough and robust feeling watch and looks good at the same time. Meeting the people behind the brand really reinforces what I already knew, but they're passionate people when it comes to watches in general and when it comes to putting together a quality sports watch. Cost for the watch comes in at £1,595, 2,100 USD, and as of today, they're available on the Nomadic site, which I'll link below. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye bye.